good cooking. Today I'm here representing my mother, Josephine Wade from Hoppin Archive. We're going to be introducing today Hoppin John. Hoppin John is one of the beans of the black eyed peas, one of the beans that our poor ancestors We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Josephine's cooking is going to be preparing some traditional Southern dishes. My brother knows the history of a lot of these dishes. I'm just a mouthpiece, if you will, but he's going to do all the cooking. We will be featuring Hoppin Johns, baked sweet potatoes, jambalaya, corn fritters, and fried chicken. And he's just going to give you a demonstration of how to make 2 of those dishes. So at this time, we'd like to present to you Chef Carter. Tell him how to make it.
All right, everyone. Today we're going to be doing a demonstration of Hoppin John. Hoppin John comes to us from the Carolinas, Charleston, Carolina, where the first Africans came over, and seeds that they brought with them were the black-eyed peas. They brought the okra with them. They brought the sweet potato yams with them. They brought the collard greens with them, and they brought the rice with them. So today we're going to be doing Hoppin Johns. Now, nobody knows where Hoppin John came from, where the name came from. We do know that the French in the Cajun named it Jivar, and when they named it Jivar, some of the people couldn't pronounce it, so they said Hoppin John. So Hoppin John is really easy. We use Hoppin John at the beginning of the new year as a prosperity for us, and so let me just show you how we make it. Okay, y'all ready? So now we're gonna take.
So I don't feel left out. I'm gonna pass you stuff.
You're gonna pass me. Okay, this is my brother. Okay, we're gonna take our beans. Normally you would soak your beans, but black eyed peas only take 40-45 minutes. Okay, so now give me some water.
So you do put the water in first.
Put it in. Go ahead. Oh, we cooking now. No, not for real. Okay, so we gotta put our beans in. We're gonna put just a little salt in there. And our beans, okay, all right, and then we're going to add our onions to it. We're going to add our sweet red bell pepper. Now, sweet red bell pepper did not come until much, much later. When the Africans was in the field, they had the black-eyed peas. They didn't have the red onions. The red onions and the green onions didn't come later till about 10, 15 years later when the French and the Dutch came into our lives and began to move into our culture. So in the field, we would cook black-eyed peas with just yellow or white onions. Okay? So we got the red onions in there, and then we have the green onions. Okay? Now, when the French would get through eating, when they would slaughter the hog, the only part of the hog that we had to use was the what?
Ham hock.
Was the ham hock. So we would take the ham hock and we would put in there. Brother, put me some more water in here. Okay? So what you would do is you would fill the pot all the way up till the ham hock and the beans are totally covered. Okay, seal it up really well. We will always use a bay leaf in it. Seal it for 40-45 minutes. Okay, after 40-45 minutes, they will take the ham hock out and they will chop it up into small pieces. Okay, and then they will serve that unit. Okay, so we would just stir it like that. All right. Then once the beans is almost ready, what they would do is Hoppin John. They would take the rice and they would pour the rice into the beans.
That's prepared rice? That's prepared rice?
No. The rice that they use are Charleston, that Charleston rice, which is what we call a long grain rice. Okay? They would take a long grain rice, they would take like a broth, and they would cook the long grain rice off until it's almost, and then they would add it into the beans. Or they would just add it all into the beans, depends on where they were out in the field. Okay? So at the end of the day, at the end of the 45 minutes, this is what you would have. You would have the black-eyed peas along with the ham hock. But, we missed one thing. One thing that they did bring was the okra. Okay, so they brought black-eyed peas, they brought okra, they brought callaloo, which was in our language, which would be our collard greens. Then you can never serve Hoppin John without cornbread. Okay, so today we're making cornbread fritter, brother. Okay, so these cornbread fritter, my mother, which is my mother, Josephine Wade, it is her recipe. So in her recipe, she would use 1.5 to 2 cups of cornmeal. We making cornbread now. Anybody know how to make cornbread? From scratch? Not out of a box.
Not Jiffy.
No jiffy.
No Jiffy.
No jiffy. Okay? We add the flour, about a half a cup and a half of flour. Add the eggs. Give me that spoon, right? Okay? And we would add the onions to that. Oh man, it smells good, and they didn't even did anything yet. Okay? Now my mother would add grated cheese. This looks like a mild sharp cheese. Okay? You can't make cornbread without what? Baking soda. We're going to add a little baking soda in there, about a half a teaspoon. Okay? Now this is Mama's seasoning, so I can't tell y'all what's in here. Okay? So she's going to add just a little of the seasoning in there. And, I need a little of that water. We're going to add this, well, that looks like wine. I know this is olive oil. So you're going to take about 4 tablespoons of olive oil. Just going to go in those fritters. And just a little water, about a half a cup of, what?
Mama said the water had to be boiling, so it has to be boiling hot water when you add it to this.
Okay. All right. Don't tell her I didn't put the hot water in there. Don't tell her. She's looking. She's looking at this. Mama, I'm doing the hot water. Okay. So we're gonna add. This is corn. Looks like peas, carrots. Okay. Let's just say this water, for my mother's sake, let's just say this water is boiling. Oh yeah, it's steaming, y'all. Okay. Now you don't want it real wet. Okay. So you're just gonna. Anybody know anything about skillet bread? Am I the only one that came from the South? So that would make what we call hot water cornbread. That was back in the day. That was before some of our time. Okay? Oh, you had some last night? Okay. So now, once you mix that up, you will make it into a ball like my brother is doing. And you would just deep fry that. Okay? You go 360 degrees for about a good maybe 8 or 9 minutes. You will take it out of that oil and you will put it in the deep fryer or in the oven for another maybe 20 minutes so it'll be firm and be real soft in the middle. Oh, look at that.
And I'm the taster for the family. It's really good. Quality control.
Okay, thank you. That's going to be the